Over the years, there have been hundreds of YouTubers that have either rise to fame or have fell down to obscurity. But I feel like it is almost absolutely undeniable that from the mid 2010s, starting around 2016, all the way up to the very end of the 2010s, YouTube was in its prime, or what I like to dub, the golden age. From people who were up at the top and had everything in control to people who have fell and completely, they didn't deserve the fame. Let's be real. They did not deserve the fame. I feel as if YouTube's golden age was a fantastic moment in crafting and showing what YouTubers really could be. From people like Liza Koshy, Corey X Kenshin, and Logan Paul, just to name a few, growing massive fan bases and support, not to mention careers, out of being simply a YouTuber. I feel like this is not only the most inspirational group of individuals on YouTube, but almost hands down, probably the faces of YouTube. And you probably watched at least one person on this list. We're gonna go through a few things that happened around this time and some of the people who basically ran YouTube, and see once and for all, is 2016 through 2019 really the golden age of YouTube? Starting off with the three oldest people on this list, we have Liza Koshy, we have Swoozie, and we have Roman Atwood. Now, although there are gonna be more people on this list who had channels all the way back then, these people were definitely on the forefront of that YouTube scene. Now, of course, Logan Paul did start around this time that everyone started popping because he was popular on Vine, just like Liza Koshy, if I'm not mistaken. But Liza and Logan Paul have done something that takes a lot of time to craft. A social media presence that doesn't just exist online, but on TV. Logan being a professional WWE wrestler is the craziest thing that nobody ever thought a YouTuber, more or less Logan Paul, would ever be able to accomplish. Liza Koshy is heavily tied and associated with Nickelodeon, and even if she's not with them anymore, she was doing interviews on the red carpet. How many YouTubers get to make it to the red carpet? Now, of course, there were a lot of different eras and a lot of different things that were going on, but gaming will always be a part of YouTube. People like Corey Kenshin, people like DannyTDM, and people like Stampy Longnose definitely were ruling the scene when it came to a whole bunch of different games and trying indie things. Now, there were a lot of other YouTubers, but I wasn't too keen on them, so it's not really my place to speak on them. The biggest by far has to be Corey Kenshin. He started his channel all the way back in 2009, I think, or like 2011, one of those. But he started doing vlogging content while he was in college. He literally finished college and did gaming. This man has single-handedly had one of the strongest and well-deserved journeys on YouTube. Like, everything that he has done has been shown. You can see the slow progression, the evolution of his quality, the evolution of his personality and comfortability on camera unfold right in front of you. And even if you're watching an old video, you're going to have a laugh because these people were meant to entertain you. Now, getting onto some of the people that aren't as popular now, but still have a fan base like DannyTDM, I was a really young child when he was out. I personally did enjoy his content, but there are certain things that, like I said, some people are on top and some people fell. DannyTDM didn't necessarily fall, but he did definitely lose his spot as one of the top YouTubers. See, he had a very specific fan base, and they were kids. While having a family-friendly channel that is directed towards kids is not a bad thing whatsoever, you will never, ever have consistent fans. Because as much as there are people who will stand by you and watch you until the very end, people grow up and people change. People like Stampy Longhead, DannyTDM were aimed towards children. And once those children grew up out of elementary school into middle school, we weren't really watching them anymore. The things that we once found funny weren't funny. The games that we once played weren't the games that we played anymore. They were still playing games like Minecraft. And you're going into middle school, you're probably about to start playing Call of Duty, and it's gonna get intense. Now, as much as I do still love their content, because I did very recently go to check in and see what was happening, and there is still things going on. They still have a very nice fan base. Honestly, the place that they are right now is a really good place to be, especially because it's hard to keep up with children's content the older you get. Some of the people that we were watching when we were kids were in their 20s, and some of them have families in their 30s now. They can't really keep up with the way that they used to. Just these creators, but people like Roman Atwood. He has like 5 kids now, and I'm not blaming him for not being able to upload every day. I know it's a struggle for me, and I don't even have kids. But segueing from the people who fell off, we're going on to the people who were created. So like I said earlier, Roman Atwood definitely pioneered the vlogging scene, so much so we got one of the most influential people right now, DDG. Pontiac made DDG. Probably one of the most clowned on people up until this point. See, to this day, DDG is still clowned for being a YouTuber, but without a doubt, you cannot ignore the certain things that this man has done. From being a kid with massive dreams of being a YouTuber to actually doing it and having a successful movie career and dating one of the hottest actresses right now. I don't mean sexually, I mean popularity. DDG has a whole list of milestones behind his name. DDG was just a teenager when he decided to move to LA and chase his dreams of being a YouTuber. And he literally showed everyone who was his age that it was possible. Now, although he's not a part of this video, there's a YouTuber that I personally watch named PoppyQ, also known as Quan. And he also looks up to Roman Atwood and DDG. And I'm not mistaken, and if I'm not mistaken, DDG looked up to some of those people too, but the domino effect is here, making very good content in the newest and latest creators. But DDG spawned a whole new wave of YouTubers, people who were doing the pranks like Roman Atwood and uploading every day, but could be them about it. They were themselves, they involved their lives, and they were doing things flashier and better than ever. But the people who didn't deserve the fame also saw this as an opportunity. Input clout vlogger CJ So Cool. Now, although I did indulge in his content for a small amount of time, I learned very quickly that people on YouTube will hop on trends to do anything for any amount of money. And CJ So Cool was not shy from that. Doing extremely flashy things and faking reactions to things in his life that were pre-planned. CJ So Cool was the first of many family channels that put a distaste on the YouTube culture, making it fall out of its prime. CJ So Cool was a vlogger who vlogged every single day, uploading videos primarily directed to a young audience, although the content and ideas that he had sometimes weren't even for that audience. Some of the content that he did and the way that he acted about certain things is not even acceptable. Just recently, he was in a controversy for cutting his daughter's hair, but you can't deny that he also helped pioneer because he had formed a brand new wave of clout vlogging. Although DDG did, CJ So Cool also helped to make vlogging seem cool. People saw the cars he had, the chains that he had, and the life that he lived, and wanted to live just like him. He literally had a song where he says, "I live in a mansion, the top of the hill." Although the song wasn't all that, the kids were eating it up. And that's why they fell in love with people like Funny Mike, because they were clout vlogging too. Now, clout vlogging did have its ups and downs, and thankfully clout vlogging isn't really the move anymore. It still exists. Although clout vlogging still exists, it is very much more tame now and a lot more realistic than the life that they were trying to portray. People like DDG and CJ So Cool also had an impact on the YouTube scene. I'm talking 2016 to around 2017, Liza Koshy was building the biggest name for herself and doesn't even do YouTube anymore. I don't think she's uploaded in like 2 years. But Roman Atwood and Swoozie are by far some of the most influential YouTubers. I guarantee almost 50% of vloggers now, today, have been inspired by Roman Atwood or someone who was inspired by him. And then Swoozie. Swoozie was pretty much the kingpin of storytime animations. Nobody was doing it like him. And you look at people like Young Dun the Sauce God and you can see the influence. Now, somebody who I have been avoiding to talk about for a minute now has finally come up in this conversation. KSI. Very, very, very controversial YouTuber. He pretty much did it all. Bro was interviewing people, he was vlogging, he was doing pranks, and then on top of that, he was doing reactions, just like DDG. But as many times as he rose up and down, he prevailed. There were plenty of times where KSI was in the topic, and then other times where he completely wasn't. He was at his peak, then he fell. He was at his peak, then he disappeared. But after all that, he has reached the success of Logan Paul. both of them being some of the biggest creators and having one of the biggest and best-selling drinks right now, Prime, which is another example of social media influencers doing the impossible and becoming celebrities, something that we did not think was possible back when YouTube first started. People such as Logan Paul, DDG, and KSI having successful music careers after doing YouTube are also an impact on the YouTubers that we have today, making it cool to not only be a YouTuber, but a musician. Not only are we crafting a very creative generation of YouTubers, but we're showing that the power of social media and being an online personality is totally worth it. I'd love to make a part 2 to this video, so comment down below who influenced you in this golden age of YouTube to be who you are today. Don't forget to comment down the favorite people that you watch too. They didn't have to influence you. Everybody is welcome. I love to hear y'all opinions. But yeah, if I missed anybody, let me know. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I thank you guys for your support. Good day.